Hey everyone! Finally got a little bit of time to take a look at a few jobs. There's a whole bunch that have hit the listserv, but today we're going to look at 5, 2 e-resource ones, and 3 on the system side. And then there's a couple other ones that I'll pick up later that are not quite falling into neat categories, let's put it that way. First off, let's talk about the University of Pennsylvania. I had to just went and check this because I'm like, well, I thought it was public, but it's actually private because I saw private employer and then was sitting there going, private? Wait, it's public because it's Pennsylvania, right? No, it is not to be confused with Pennsylvania University. University of Penn is Pennsylvania. Is a private Ivy League school. So it's kind of interesting that these guys are willing to be hybrid eligible and also that they are willing to actually post a salary range. Because there's a lot of private schools, as we'll see in the Guess the Salary, that don't. So UPenn is pretty awesome. Competitive benefits package, healthcare. Whoop. Sorry, I scrolled down fast. I keep forgetting that the mouse on this is kind of strange. So yeah, you're technically a librarian B, which sounds so wonderful. 19 physical libraries, as well as a lot of not so physical stuff, because your e-resources, you're probably not necessarily worrying so much about the physical things. Online resource, effective engagement, excellent communication skills. Okay, let's look at the actual nuts and bolts of this. So, workflows of licensing, purchase, entitlement, renewal, and analysis. So the whole cycle. Again, creating and analyzing data. More about licensing and holdings coverage. How that goes into your discovery system. Support user and access and discovery. So they have Easy Proxy and Lean Library, which those of you that haven't heard of Lean Library, it's a little app sort of thing that allows you to have direct linking as well as links to other useful library stuff. Collaboration, secure contract terms, organize, articulate, expose, track license information. Okay, yeah, all the licensing things. And then play active role. Yeah, so basically you get to do the soup to nuts of the resources. And make sure they can work with the Easy Proxy and, feed the discovery layer. So, pretty much the default e-resource librarian job. So, you do need your MLS, MIS. I don't know who keeps calling it MLS, but yeah, we still do. 1 to 2 years. So you have to be out in the world for 1 to 2 years, and it is like a B-level job, it says. So, I guess maybe they will like take you in on C level and boost up your salary if you have more time in the field, but 1 to 2 years is still pretty good, and relevant professional library experience. So you have to have done something with e-resources. They're actually pretty broad in terms of what they're what they're asking. Like basically, tell us what you've done that will meet this. And one of the things I haven't gotten into, because I've been debating about doing a video about secrets of hiring you don't discover until you actually are on hiring committees. One of them is you have to make sure to hit all the required qualifications, which is why you'll notice, at least in our organization, we've been dropping a lot of the requireds into preferred so that we can, deal with people who have experience but haven't, like, mastered things. Anyway, so familiarity with workflows, demonstrability, commitment to diversity, the usual, can you, talk to people, plan things. So preferred qualifications. So you have to have, for C levels, competency in more than one of the preferred qualifications listed below. So you have to know how a library system works in relation to e-resource management acquisitions. Experience with ALMA, especially acquisitions and analytics, good times. So clearly they have ALMA. And then, work collaboratively, discuss emergent discovery and access problems, resolve access needs, communicate status. Yeah, can you do the troubleshooting and the hand-holding / customer service stuff? And experience providing access to or discovery of, experience participating in a license negotiation. Oh, this exciting of a license negotiation. I, again, am not a normal e-resources librarian, so I don't get to do any of that exciting stuff. Experience with analyzing metadata across multiple knowledge bases and how to load the things. So yeah, I could get to a librarian C, but not everybody could. So it's kind of like it's not really an entry level, but slightly above entry level job, good mid-career job. So upload your thing, and this does have a pay scale 43 to 78. Sorry, I said 68. But as you can see, internal market factors, grade profile, skills, education. But it's nice to see a private college actually list like some sort of, some sort of range. Like, give me some idea what your bottom dollar is. Pretty please. So yeah, the rest of this is all the exciting things about the University of Pennsylvania. And this link should be down in the bottom in the description. I usually try to be pretty good about that. All right. Next 5 minutes, we'll look at a similar position down in Tennessee. I did not do the accent right. Please do not leave me comments. My Southern is not particularly good. This was an assistant professor, and University of Tennessee is actually a public institution. And they actually just give you the bottom dollar, so assistant professor, again, something I didn't realize when I was applying for faculty jobs, the difference between assistant and associate. They both start with A, and when you have dyslexia, that's about all you notice. So associate is higher than assistant for those of you who aren't in faculty hiring. So this is the bottom dollar. So if you have more training experience, you could be hired in as a higher appointment as an associate. So it is nice to know though that their bottom starting salary is 63. You have to report to the head of the usual spot. Research one institution, flagship institution for the state. Highly motivated. Oh dear, highly motivated. Anyway, sorry. Knoxville's pretty cool though. Yeah, Tennessee is one of those states I almost couldn't see myself living in. All right, resource management, managing the life cycle, the good old life cycle. In this case, unlike UPenn, you guys have to like train, mentor, and evaluate 5 full-time employees. Ooh. Yeah. So back to the evaluation criteria. I feel like I did this post already, but maybe I didn't. Worst case scenario, I get to see it twice, I guess, because I don't have any good editing software. Alright, so you troubleshoot, you resolve the access issues, you manage the workflows, you do the renewals, you do the things, the new trends and developments, ensure the successful maintenance, thorough understanding and experience in licensing, acquiring, do all the e-resource things. So again, this one has 5 FTE to manage the life cycle, and again, it is ALMA and Primo VE. And you have to, deal with negotiating and renewing, deal with the license issues, guide the libraries and maintaining awareness of new strategies for e-resource management. Again, more licensing. Gosh darn, licensing is very important, I know. Serves as a member of interdepartmental collections assessment. So again, you have to be able to do the data, make the data happen, make the pretty pictures, and work collaboratively with various stakeholders, including, the front-end people and all that good stuff. And they do expect you to do scholarship and professional activities and, the usual professional things. All right. So just like the UPenn one, they want you to have, your master's in relevant discipline before they hire you. Interesting that diversity and inclusion is second on the required qualifications. Pretty cool, though. It's actually above experience working with e-resources management, so that's very interesting. Familiarity with technologies, evidence of leadership ability and skills. Yeah, I was going to say, I might have skills. I don't know if I have ability. Manage your license agreements, do the problem solving. Again, back with the interpersonal skills to establish and maintain close, productive working relationships with colleagues. I don't know if that's a red flag or not. Because I've had these debates with some of my coworkers with some of the wording we put into stuff, and they're like, "Oh no, that's like de rigueur in our our side of the field." And I'm just like, I don't know if I read that, I would read that as a red flag. But that's just me and my tinfoil hat. So okay, effective interpersonal skills and in close, productive working relationships. I don't know if that just means everyone's tight-knit or the opposite, because when I came into my current position, I'm like, everybody will be tight-knit because we're in a small town. Well, it turns out there's a division. Like, half of us go, half an hour south because that's where the city is and nice things, and not the country. So, all right. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm probably reading too much into that. Don't mind me. All right. Demonstrated initiative, flexibility, ability to work creatively, effectively, independently, ability to do all the working without people. And, do the usual promotion and tenure things. Can you supervise people? Because you're going to be supervising people. Trends, keep current, copyright fair use. Okay, the other one did not mention that, but that's also good. Again, with the licensing. We still have the Ex Libris products. And granted, this is biased because they pull a lot of these off that listserv. So, knowledge of the bibliographic descriptive standards. Again, more data analysis visualization. Maintaining positive relationships with vendors. So, Yeah, that's another interesting one. 'Cause I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I have positive relationships with our vendors, I guess. I don't. I'm very glad that I'm not acquisitions because I don't. Yeah, it's too many vendors having to be nice, and I've been in sales, so I'm, as my husband puts it, ridiculously nice to salespeople. I'm like, I'm sorry, we have no money. Please stop bothering me. As nice as possible. All right. And then we also have this demonstrated record of publication and professional contribution. So, and this is under preferred, right? Right. So you don't necessarily have to have that, but I like that's like demonstrated. So yeah, they have like they're significantly bigger than where I'm at, 33,000. So that's pretty awesome. Teaching, research, the Hodges Library. So we also have this agriculture, veterinary medicine, and a music library, which is pretty cool. And again, I feel like I'm saying this over again. Why am I feeling my own foo? All right. Association, Lyceris, again, all useful stuff. And I just am going to breeze down here to the 63,000 as well as 24 leave days, which, again, feels like a lot. All right. I'm just going to keep cutting through if I've seen it twice. Oh, well. My brain is getting all munged up these days. Too many job ads, too many things to do. All right. So this next one is partly an attempt to hopefully find someone that can help make the collaborative I actually partially work for. Well, I teach for these guys, and they're the collaborative that my university participates in. And I looked at it, and the only downside of this one is, now that we're starting in the system side, is this one is like not such a great pay. But it's also looks like it's more like hardware side, and talking about things like, oh God, is it consortium manager? I think it is. I don't know if that's Library Michigan or MCLS, but managing things like that for the member libraries and things. I don't think it entails like dealing with the big database packages, but maybe it does. Because a lot of this to me sounds like it's like server monitoring, IT monitoring, helping with installed apps and staff workstations. There's nothing wrong with that because it's like a really basic sysadmin position. So you could definitely grow in it. And the qualifications are a little bit light. So like college degree with significant coursework in IT or equivalent. And then you need the technology support, but definitely Unix, Linux, networking, internet, app protocols, and then, can you debug, track, problem solve them? Do you have any sort of experience with programming? And then, can you travel within Michigan, Indiana? And that's a pretty wide range to ask people to travel, if you ask me, so. Yeah, maybe. But the downside is, this minimum, well, this says minimum, so that's a little more encouraging. The post I actually saw on the list was like, we are hiring at this hour, and I'm like, what? That seems really low. Even for something that doesn't really require like a master's degree, because you're just a sysadmin for the consortia systems. But yeah, hopefully someone will step up and help us out because we are good people. All right, moving right along, because I have to listen back to this before we post it. And I'm sure I will discover that we already talked about the University of Tennessee one. Okay. We also, in systems land, have a nice one from the University of California system. This is Northridge, and they are actually looking for, and they're nice enough to call us non-instructional faculty, a systems librarian as well. The rank is senior, assistant, or associate, so again, the associate's the higher one. And the salary scale, and again, I love that we put the salary scale on here, so 76 to 102 or 85 to 102. California is expensive from what I've heard. I've never actually been to California, so I can't say. Personally, this is probably closer to like, I don't know, 60s anywhere else. If you're from California, feel free to chime in on how exactly far your dollar goes. But yeah, I think it's about market equivalent. I don't know. Our wages are going down. I don't really like that. Anyway, so we have about the college, about the department. If you wanted to go see all the nice people in your department, I'm going to skip that. All right, professionally engaged, innovative, collaborative to join the team environment. And you get to do XLMS, ALMA, and Prima, data display indexing. You get to put your metadata in other library systems, which again you see is all up with the ALMA. The library website, creative integration. Oh, creative integration of the library system. Collaborating with the library systems group, online access and integration, initiating both the implementation and awareness of. How do you initiate awareness of? Well, that sounds more like promotion. That sounds like a marketing thing. What? Awareness of. No, that's the outreach guy. He should be like doing the awareness of. Anyway, that has user success in finding and using library content. Depending on educational background experience, does the liaison collection developing activities based on the needs of the library, nice and flexible. Participates in instructions in person, remote reference, assistance, yep. This one actually comes out and tells you it's a 12-month. I don't think the other ones actually did, but it's senior assistant or associate. And then they go into, evening, weekend may be required. You should be able to live up to basic standards. You have to have weekly office hours. Engagement. Okay. Oh, okay. So this should have been cut down here. I'm like sitting there going, why is it doing that? And it's like, well, somebody didn't edit. Okay. So they also need a master's degree, demonstrated experience in managing library systems. Good call. It doesn't say how much demonstrated experience. Demonstrated knowledge of the metadata formats, demonstrated experience analyzing data display, analytical written communication, decision-making skills. So yeah, this is all nice and vague. You don't have any years attached to it, which is actually kind of good. Ability to apply commitments to DEI within context of libraries, and commitment to engage in research and professional development. Now, preferred in their case is probably closer to what they actually are looking for. So at least 2 years in an academic library, experience managing some sort of LSP, preferably the Ex Libris Alma, experience with OCLC and document delivery, so this suggests they're probably using Iliad or TPASA, not quite familiar with University of California libraries. And then we have the usual, project, diversity, information literacy, helping with the research assistance. This actually has a pretty far out deadline, March 1st, so if you're looking at this, it's probably a good idea to apply. Okay. What? Oh, maybe consider a mandated reporter, criminal background check, all that exciting stuff. Okay. Yep, this is getting long, so let's close it out with the most well-paid job I've seen, and I'm just gonna admit it. I've partially not posted this because I'm very tempted to apply to it. Because this is MIT and it is full remote for the right person. And I'm sitting there with my jaw dropped, much like you, going, MIT will be willing to do full remote. Well, I mean, that's nice. I'm just very surprised. I'm glad they're in the 21st century because it is MIT after all, but it's still a surprise. Let's just be honest. And in this case, it makes sense because this is very IT heavy. And this is the big leagues with the big boys. Which is partly why I haven't applied, because I'm like, I don't think you can make that jump. But who knows? As my husband says, it could be an equity hire or a diversity hire. So, well-rounded technology leader who coaches and mentors a strong team responsible for implementing all the stuff. So they're Alma and Primo. They have 2 instances of DSpace. I do not know what the symplectic elements is. I've heard of Aeon. I want to say this is Gobi, like the purchasing system, but they wrote it as Gooby, so yeah. Not quite certain they're MIT, maybe some proofreading. So reporting to the department head for ITS, so literally the department head for ITS for like the entire university. Good stuff. Continuous improvement of the enterprise services processes, as well as establishing, measuring, reporting on key performance indicators. Those of you who have not done balanced scorecard, it's so much fun. Related to services, processes, operations, and delivery. So you have to do program management, resource management, and technical leadership. Build a platform for creation, discovery, use, dissemination, and preservation of knowledge that is fully open and equitably accessible. Which it sounds pretty friggin' awesome, right? And you're the head, so they, can't expect too much knowledge out of you, right? I'm kidding. Don't kick me, MIT. Alright, so 40% program management for enterprise services, so you have to lead strategic priorities, major time frames, definition of major deliverables, directs development, review, approval of work plans. Oh, work plans, I'm sorry. They keep trying to get me to do them here, and I'm like, no. My work plan is I will come in That's my work line. We'll come in and I will do things. Anyway, their contents and baselines and identification and execution of needed replanning efforts. Monitors all project executions for enterprise services, plan, production, major deliverables, intervening when necessary. 2. Review current state, direct adjustments, manages improvements, blah, 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 and ensures the enterprise systems, processes, and metadata workflows are operating at optimal levels and uptime for critical production systems is on par with industry standards. Kind of curious what the industry standard is. Anyway, manage product life cycle and consultation with stakeholders. Yep, I get to manage product life cycle. That's fun. Establish standards and best practices for managing components, portfolio, implementing policies, resilience, and security. Manages the tickets in a timely manner. Good stuff. Ensures systems and processes, methodologies are maintained and followed to guarantee effective monitoring and control. And monitors, evaluates efficacy and effectiveness of enterprise service delivery methods and procedures. Oh yeah, fun. And then you have the other half of your job, which is managing the technology resources. So you get to manage an actual team of enterprise systems and metadata services. So there's like 6 full-time employees, 4 directs and 2 indirects. And they say who are members of a union, and unfortunately the way this is written, I don't know if that's like all 6 are members of a union or just the 2 indirects. I'm thinking the 2 indirects, but yeah, that would definitely be a question. Unions are fun, kids. Establishes measurable objectives aligned with library goals, provides day-to-day management to resolve short-term operational issues. Yep, been there. Articulates job expectations, delegates job responsibilities, represents the team, and advocates for inclusion. Yeah, the enterprise services people like to be included and provide perspectives and expertise. Guidance, encouragement, constructive feedback. Yes, also good. Has authority over performance evaluations, pay decisions, and recruitment of people, subject to approval by senior leadership. Yeah, of course. Advice and counsel to the vendor relationship, decision-making, and contract development process. Don't deal with these fools. Anyway. Service provider performance, recommends appropriate actions, identifies, confirms performance problems. That's always a fun one. Identifies the role, skills, and knowledge required to achieve the goals. Yeah, that I can do. Ensures team members have resources and skills, embraces and implements change. Oh boy, I'm not so good at the embracing. I can implement change. The frequent communication to staff and customers about change and impact of the change. And then you have this other piece of technology leadership, implements the tactical components of the library's enterprise IT strategy, understand business needs, development, implementation of initiatives. Yeah, this is all that exciting management stuff that I usually just run away from. Clarity on objective, scope, and org change. Provides input to technology planning efforts, successful fulfillment of end user requirements, proper, accurate testing, and sound implementation. Budget, schedule, resources, serves on relevant governance groups, ensures compliance and performance metrics. Anyway, all this lovely stuff can be yours with just a bachelor's degree. I know, you're sitting here going, what? Yeah, no. You have to have a lot of experience out in the field, though, so, I may tell you, MIT don't play. So minimum 7 years combined, relevant experience in IT role, and 2 years of supervisory experience managing tech staff, initiative to understand and meet customer needs, communication, library systems, platforms, library discovery tools, capitalize metadata, okie dokie. Works independently and within a team, can meet committed deadlines. Yes, I can meet committed deadlines. You can meet a deadline, I'm good. Strives to build strong working relationships with peer stakeholders and customers, has the ability to inspire, motivate, and guide the team. Powers others by sharing information and delegating as appropriate. I don't like as appropriate for sharing information. You should share it with everyone. Anyway, preferred master's degree in IT or equivalent, 10 experience years or more in tech role, and 6 years or more of experience supervising and managing a tech team. Experience with the old Alma Primo, DSpace, Aeon, and Sympletic Elements they mentioned earlier, as well as higher education, museums, or cultural institutions, as well as project management methodologies, and then more experience managing in a union environment. So, yeah. It's asking a lot under the preferred and not so much the required. Excuse me. But you can be fully remote if you're in the United States because it's IT and they don't need your booty in Massachusetts, which is pretty dang awesome if you ask me. And because you're like the enterprise manager person, your salary is pretty dang high. Even the base is like 112 for Christ's sake. And again, I know it's like 10 years in the field. Yeah, 7 years minimum. So it's not an entry level job, and it shouldn't have an entry level salary, especially because of MIT is like, yeah, the bee's knees. So 112 minimum can go as high as almost 200K. But yeah, it actually gives a typical hiring range, which makes us like total gold star. And then they go into their whole like we have fully subsidized passes for local bus and subway service. Yeah, let me stay in Michigan. Let me stay in Michigan. Collegial and supportive and professional growth, management training, and travel funding. Yeah, I would think MIT would have money, unlike the place I currently work. Where you're just like, can I go somewhere? No, actually, they let me go way too many places. And, yeah, there was a year where I went to like 4 things and I got teaching. I'm like, I got scholarships for a couple of these. So, yeah, this is already past the priority review date of January 15th, but MIT is like, if it's open, you can apply, so give it a whirl if you have all this deep, relevant experience. 154 person staff. Dear God. I'm sorry. I'm slightly jealous. I work in a small library where, like, I remember going to a conference where they were like, we're a medium-sized library at like 40 people. I'm like, whoa. I think when I first got here, we had 40 people in our entire building. Anyway, 154 person, like that's not UM size. UM is probably bigger than that, but that's still pretty big amount compared to where I've been working. Anyway, hopefully, even if I did repeat one of these, it was not too boring. And it's almost been a half an hour. Shoot, I should go get my groceries and head home. Bye.